So this week we're going to be talking about Saga, the series from 2012 to 2018. It's currently on hiatus. We're talking about a series that hasn't been completed yet, but it's been off for 2 years, and people kind of see these first 9 volumes of the comic as kind of like a part 1 almost, and when it comes back, it will be like almost like the sequel. So Brian K. Vaughan, we'll just talk about him a bit. He was a comic book writer. He was kind of like your standard writer, like he worked for Marvel and DC, and he left because he kind of wanted to write his own stuff, where he didn't want to be, held down by characters who already existed, characters who kind of their personalities have already been fleshed out. And when you're working for like a major company like DC,
what a refreshing concept, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
We need another Superman fucking thing.
Exactly. But when you're working for a company like DC or Marvel, and you have this character who's been around since, most of Marvel characters have been around since the 60s. Most of DC characters have been around since the 40s. And there's only so much you can really change, and there's only so many real, like, original stories that you can tell with characters that have been around for so long.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention, it's just like, as an audience member, I don't know, I guess there's some people that are into it, but we talk all the time about, I mean, how many fucking Batman movies do you need?
Exactly.
It just gets so old. And,
exactly.
And it's like turning out, some kind of fucking product. It's not like...
And 2020...
What Scorsese got in trouble for saying, essentially.
Is that it's not cinema.
Right.
And 2020 is going to be the first year since 2008 since 2007 that hasn't come out with a Marvel movie.
Is that only because of the pandemic?
I think it's only because of the pandemic, because...
They don't go that... I would imagine they had things in the can already, though, no?
They did. They had movies that were supposed to come out this year. So
they just don't want to release it because there's theaters are down, or what?
Theaters are down. They're not going to do streaming.
Really?
No. Well...
How much money can you make giving it to Netflix? Not
they're not going to... Well, Netflix and Disney...
Right, true.
Disney has Disney Plus. Disney owns Marvel now. They're not going to give anything.
Gotcha.
There was a Marvel series, couple Marvel series that were on Netflix.
Wouldn't it make sense for them to try to have like this big Disney Plus moment?
All right, so they kind of just tried that with Mulan.
Right.
And Mulan was like known as the complete failure. I mean, with streaming, it's hard to get like a... I mean,
to be honest though, like, is it really fair to compare like how Mulan would do compared to a Batman movie?
I think so, yeah. Or compared
how?
to... All right, so Mulan was kind of marketed to be a massive success in China.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at modern blockbusters... And this is kind of like people are talking about of just like, this is kind of why Americans, we kind of hate all new movies that came out, or else at least all like big budget movies, is because they are not made for us to like them. They're made to do very well in China.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't there some example of a big Marvel movie being edited specifically for China? Like it showed...
Yes, so... And it's so fucking ridiculous. All right,
well, it's fucking hypocritical.
Yeah. Well, all right. So you know nothing about the Marvel movies.
Next to nothing. Yeah.
I've seen them.
I'm sure I know something.
So there was kind of like this big, Earth-wide event where like half the planet got killed. At the end.
Sorry?
Yes, at the end of one of...
in a movie. Okay.
Yes.
You left that part out. I was like...
At the end of the movie in Avengers Infinity War.
Okay.
There's a big event where this character, Thanos, basically kills half the people on the planet, right. And it's like done at random. And then...
That's kind of like a Game of Thrones, right? I don't know. I know nothing about it.
You don't watch Game of Thrones either.
I tried to get that in there. Didn't she fucking like kill everybody at the end or something?
Yes. Yeah. Daenerys kills everybody. It's not the same way.
Right.
Okay. But
Thought I could slide that in.
in the next one, which is in Avengers Endgame, I had seen it late. Like, I don't go see movies when they first come out in theaters because I'm
What
not
the hell
like
are you
that.
talking about? Yes, you do.
No, not on opening night. Never.
Oh, opening night.
Like
yeah,
opening
you'll go the first weekend.
No, not the first weekend. Never.
Never?
No, for a small budget movie, yes. For something like Marvel movies, I don't see in theaters.
Yeah.
Just because, like, fuck Disney. But anyway, so before I had seen Avengers Endgame, there was a lot of talk online about the gay moment.
The what?
The gay moment.
Oh.
And I'm repeating things that, like,
I
people
understand.
on the internet were saying.
I wasn't sure if you said game.
The gay moment.
Okay.
And they were talking about. All right, here's what happened. Captain America is basically in a support group for people who have, like, lost loved ones during this, like, big event. Okay. And one of the guys goes, yeah, I lost my husband and I just haven't been happy since. And, like, that's the moment that everyone was freaking out about. Like, people
who
online.
was freaking out?
There's, like, a big... People online, like, people re-edited the movie and cut that scene out because they were mad about it. And they had to... Yes, really? And this really happened. And they cut that out of the Chinese release because...
No.
Yes.
Oh, my God. That is so fucking...
weak. And the movie... That
is the weakest shit I've ever heard. But they do that all... I mean, the NBA fucking plays with China, like...
Bohemian.
Hey, by the way, China doesn't like this country. Can we get our fucking minds
Bohemian
around that?
Rhapsody.
We're so addicted to capitalism that we can't, you know.
Bohemian Rhapsody had to cut out, like, any mention of Freddie Mercury being gay.
No.
Yes.
Shut up.
Yeah.
For China?
There was a, like, edited cut of it. I don't know specifically it was for China, but I remember people were saying if you wanted to watch it on an airplane, they were going to, like, cut out any... But I'm sure for the Chinese release that they cut that out.
That's absolutely pathetic.
That's something that I need to fact check.
That is fucking pathetic.
I'm almost positive that it was cut out. Anyway, back to Brian K. Vaughan. But, you know, talking about just how much of just a... juggernaut that superhero movies have become these days. It's ridiculous. Business. But anyway, yes, they kind of tried this, like, big budget release, and, you know, we have no idea if coronavirus never happened. Mulan might have also not been successful. Like, we don't know.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying is, like, it's not. I don't know. And again, I'm an outsider, but that's my perspective. Is that if you ask me, like, you know, regular person who doesn't know what they're talking about, I would, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just an ignorant American, but I would say, how can you compare Batman to Mulan? It's not.
Well, you're talking about Aladdin. Aladdin was over $1 billion last year. It was I believe it was one of the top 10 highest grossing movies of last year. Was Aladdin.
1 billion? How much does Batman do? Probably multiple billion. I'm just saying it would make sense. Okay,
I don't think either. Batman v Superman might have crossed a billion. Justice League didn't. Joker did, but that was like no one thought that was going to happen.
Well,
Dark Knight Rises, I don't believe did, and The Dark Knight, I believe, did cross over.
Dark Knight Rises is that related to what's his name, Nolan?
Yeah.
That's
the third of the Nolan movies.
When did that come out now? Like 12?
2012, because
Dark Knight was 8.
Dark Knight was 2008. Then he did Inception in between. That was 2010.
Yeah.
And then 2012. Talking about Christopher Nolan real quick, like, I have zero interest in seeing his new movie.
Which is what? What's his new movie?
Tenet, it's called. And it just looks so weird. And, like, I don't know.
Coming out on streaming?
No. It's... might be on demand or something. I heard that they're going to release it in theaters. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah.
Maybe through, like, drive-ins or something. Anyway, back to Brian K. Vaughan. So why
don't you want to see his new movie, though? Are you not a fan of his?
No, it's not that I'm not a fan with his. I'm done with him. Like, when I saw Interstellar, like, it was nothing that, like, really impressed me, you know? Like it was
I feel like he's becoming more of like a business, like
he's becoming more like a business, but also it's kind of like, I don't want to use the word like self-masturbatory,
sure,
but almost,
yeah,
where
definitely.
it's like he's saying, look how great I am.
That's a big danger of like being successful. I mean, like I've been around certain people that have had like much higher levels of success than I have with music, and like it's definitely like now that, you know, like my band has a couple of like things going on that are like trending in a positive direction. I still can't compare it to like some of the success that I've seen from other people I've worked with, but like there's definitely a thing that like you have to keep that in check, you know? Like I've seen people lose their fucking minds and just be completely
I'm sorry, I'm going to raise my seat real quick.
I wasn't sure if it was like, I'm sorry, I have to go take a shit mid-podcast. But my point is, you can definitely, speaking of taking shits, you can definitely watch this segue. This is a radio fucking...
Speaking of taking shits.
This is Radio 101. No, you can...
all right, I do want to get to the comic book soon.
No, I know, but my point...
Yeah, but... No.
I was just making a perfect segue for the people watching, and you fucked it up. But go.
No. Do your segue.
The moment's passed.
No, do your segue. I'm interested.
I'm just saying. So the joke was, speaking of taking shits, you can escape. You know, you can crawl up your own ass when you become successful. And to your point, that's what you feel is happening with Christopher Nolan.
Sure. Yes. Okay.
You're welcome.